The story unfolds in 1940, during the Second World War, when Germany took control of France. We encountered a man named Zumbach from Switzerland. We discovered that he was a watch dealer, even amidst the war. He handed over a 1932 model watch to an officer, who in return allowed him to proceed with a pass valid for 24 hours. Zumbach then returned to his car and embarked on his journey. He reached a desolate location where everyone was heading, as the war was anticipated to conclude soon. He expressed his preference to reside in France rather than perish in England, and then he departed. Nearby, German pilots were engaged in a conversation. They revealed that their strategy was already in place. Their first target was the Royal Air Force. One of them remarked that they had already cornered their enemy, and all that remained was to deliver the final blow. While they were engaged in mockery, they encountered a Polish man who expressed his willingness to die for England. Zumbach, the man in question, boarded an airplane and took off after starting the engine. The flyers attempted to halt him, but Zumbach had already departed. At the air station, attendants were diligently working, providing data clarification to an officer. Suddenly, the pilots received alerts and hurriedly took off. Then we shifted to the location of the pilot officer, where air attacks were ongoing. The pilots were members of Squadron 303, a group of Polish pilots who had joined the Royal Air Force. They were engaged in fierce battles in foreign skies under harsh conditions, then eventually moved back to the office, where Officer Trost was approached by Lambert, who had brought him a drink. After consuming the beverage, they began to engage in intimate physical contact. However, he abruptly halted their interaction, expressing concern that someone might not return from the upcoming mission. We now see Zumbach arriving, and he is greeted enthusiastically by everyone. He displays the flag he has brought back. As he settles in, his comrades inform him that they have been continuing the fight in his absence. Zumbach responds with a statement that they wouldn't be able to eliminate the enemy without his assistance, and he smiles as he says this. Then it turns to the pilot officer, who clarifies to the chief marshal that they are not bombers but fighter pilots. He mentions their achievements of shooting down numerous German planes in Poland, highlighting the experience of the Royal Air Force. The chief marshal gives him instructions, to which he responds affirmatively and then departs. Fortunately, a pilot from the Royal Air Force team was seated in his aircraft. He is seen gazing at a woman's photograph. Subsequently, he embarks on his flight. Throughout the flight, he maintains communication with his fellow pilots, providing them with guidance. Amidst the ongoing aerial combat, he courageously manages to shoot down an enemy aircraft. The narrative then moves to an office where two officers are present. One of the officers is named Kentowski. Upon stepping outside, they observe that Zumbach has arrived, accompanied by his Royal Air Force team. After some time, when they arrive, a coach greets them saying, "Listen up, brave pilots from Poland." He extends a warm welcome to them into the Royal Air Force and asserts that it's his duty to train them. Following this, the Polish pilots receive language training to help them overcome any language-related obstacles. They are subjected to a series of evaluations, including a vision test. Prior to being escorted to the aircraft, Zumbach provides guidance on operating the aircraft, instructing them to deploy the landing gear before touching down. He asserts that their collective knowledge includes flying skills. Commander Kentowski engages in ongoing dialogue with them. The Polish pilots express their sentiments, stating that their compatriots are falling victim to the Germans. "And we're just standing by," one of the flyers exclaims, thinking of his wife and young daughter. This outburst angers Kentowski. He addresses them, "You all are skilled flyers, but other qualities are equally important, such as unity and discipline. These are the keys to our victory, gentlemen." With these words, Kentowski departs for his office. Once inside, he informs his superior about the challenges they're facing, including arrogance, lack of responsibility, and issues with discipline. The superior officer reminds him, "You're the commander and you have the power. I'm entrusting all operational responsibilities to you. You will be accountable." As Kentowski steps out, he comes across Zumbach and asks if there's any issue. Zumbach replies that they're grappling with the same challenges, particularly those related to operating in reverse and managing speed. They witness an aircraft landing clumsily and quickly approach it. They observe that the aircraft is covered in mud. The pilot of the aircraft comes out and clarifies that the mud is a result of the wheels. It becomes evident that they are all gearing up for a battle against the Germans. They are aware that they will have to face them. In the meantime, German pilot officers are shown. They remark that the Royal Air Force has been losing strength over the past fortnight. They are at a point where they are launching bombs, yet they are celebrated as winners. They persist in observing the flying aircraft. On the flip side, Kentowski is depicted instructing his Polish pilots. The female pilots are identifying the location. Aerial warfare with the Germans has commenced. Kentowski promptly calls for a withdrawal. He gives the command in a structured way. A number of the German aircraft are successfully brought down. Upon landing, the Polish pilots discover that many of their German counterparts have perished. Zumbach lands and respectfully covers the deceased with a cloth, acknowledging that they could have easily been in their place. However, another pilot questions whether the Germans would have shown them the same kindness. He points out to Zumbach that his Swiss heritage might be causing him to sympathize with the Germans. He declares that their goal is to vanquish the Germans, not to grieve for them. With these parting words, he leaves. Kentowski calls for another gathering, stressing that their mission is to fight their adversary and that it's crucial to strictly follow orders. The high-ranking officers pass on a message to the rest, extending their congratulations to Squadron 303. They underscore the importance of being prepared for the operation planned for the next day. Zumbach reveals that they are set to undertake a mission the following day. This announcement is received with enthusiasm, and they all share a group hug. They then move on to their training, dressed in their uniforms. The operation commences the following day. Female pilots step up to fulfill their roles. Other aircraft start launching attacks on the fighter pilots. Despite this, they all manage to put up a successful fight, and aerial combat ensues. It's evident that the Royal Air Force team maintains constant communication with each other. One of the Air Force pilots manages to down a German aircraft. Meanwhile, Zumbach tells Kentowski that he is the best among them. He continues to encourage his friend to rise to the occasion. He brings his friend over to the Royal Air Force team and announces his arrival. His arrival is met with joy, and they all welcome him warmly. Zumbach steps outside where a man informs him about the aircraft. The man reveals that gun cameras have been installed in the aircraft, an idea attributed to Zumbach. The guns are recalibrated to a range of approximately 150 yards or 137 meters. This means that they need to maintain a close distance for the guns to be effective. They are prepared to engage in combat. The British boys are of the opinion that the accuracy will be akin to that of a machine gun. A picture of the Royal Navy team was taken the next morning. Out of the blue, a buzzer rings. An announcement is broadcasted, directing the team to hurry to their planes as the moment for the operation has come. Everyone gets on their planes, and the shooting from the aircraft begins. The women pilots stay in their seats, pinpointing their positional zones. Several airplanes have been destroyed during a military operation, and a sign appears indicating a designated area for refueling and landing. Once the damaged aircraft is refueled, the flight resumes. The bombardment and gunfire from a member of the Royal Air Force cease, but in response, the German opposition retaliates by firing at him. As a result, he sustains injuries and starts to bleed. Afterwards, the member's plane crashes into the sea, and the waves carry it away. In this dire situation, he has a vision of a young girl who has become a casualty of the war. Surprisingly, she smiles at him. Unfortunately, he ultimately succumbs to the water and drowns, unable to survive. The rest of the Royal Air Force team is filled with sorrow and silence as they mourn the loss of their fallen comrade. Amidst this somber atmosphere, an officer is engrossed in a book titled Rudimentary. Suddenly, they find themselves thrown back into another aerial combat situation. During what was supposed to be a peaceful flight for the Air Force team, an enemy aircraft becomes the target, forcing everyone to be on high alert once again. Zumbach's aeroplane is consumed by flames, but he skillfully manages to descend safely using an air balloon. However, another member of the team is unfortunate and gets caught in the fire, resulting in injuries. At this moment, a gathering of Polish fighter pilots takes place. The chief marshal addresses the assembled crowd, introducing the hostess for the evening's event. A lady steps forward and speaks to the audience. She expresses that the purpose of the evening's celebration is to honor the brave Polish pilot officers who have fearlessly fought in the skies of England on their behalf. However, Zumbach, filled with anger, speaks out. He accuses them of bombing their own cities, causing harm and victimizing their own people. While they enjoy their glasses of champagne, their cities are being bombed, and their fellow countrymen are being mercilessly attacked, shot, and even hanged. Zumbach continues to voice his frustrations until Kentowski steps in, silencing him. After some time, Kentowski visits a room where injured pilots are recovering from their wounds. One of the pilots has endured serious burns on his face. Kentowski approaches him and provides words of encouragement, stating that a truly remarkable individual always surpasses challenges and that he should take pride in his ability to bounce back from adversity. In a different scene, another Polish pilot is shown sitting down and lighting candles, grieving over the loss of their fellow comrades. Zumbach approaches him and inquires about his actions. The pilot responds by sharing that he has started to to see the faces of those who were in the aircraft, faces that resembled their own, reminding him of the shared humanity and connection they all had. Zumbach counters this, stating that they were not like them, but were Germans, the same Germans who had wronged them. He urges the pilot to confront them, reminding him that he's still alive and breathing amidst the war, which is the most crucial thing. Essentially, Zumbach is trying to motivate him. Subsequently, Kantowski organizes a meeting with the pilots, and they all depart for the flight operation. The second round of aerial warfare commences, resulting in the destruction of many aircraft. A pilot from the Royal Air Force is seen reminiscing about the past as an elderly man is shot down. He is under the impression that he has been dismissed. Meanwhile, Zumbach becomes anxious upon witnessing this. In a fit of rage, Zumbach manages to bring down an enemy aircraft. The battle with the Germans persists. At this point, only 2 aircraft piloted by the Polish are left in the air. One of these aircraft crashes due to an engine malfunction. Zumbach is now the sole survivor, with gunfire being directed at him. The female pilot is moved to tears by the unfolding situation, as Zumbach may be destined to be United States, France, and maybe Africa. But he asks, "What if I ask you to go together?" She confirms that she will say him yes, but turns out he refuses asking as she didn't leave Rollo and he knows it from the start, and she leaves him crying. Meanwhile, Zumbach emerges from his downed aircraft, alive but wounded. He makes his way to a nearby stationary aircraft and discovers that his comrade has perished. He is filled with sorrow and anger. The squadron leader addresses the other fighter pilots, commending their exceptional efforts. He expresses pride in their actions and ongoing commitment. He acknowledges that they are deserving of immense gratitude. With these words, the officers depart. Here we are now set in London, England, in the year 1946. Zumbach is depicted observing an aircraft in flight. It's revealed that he is planning to depart for America in 3 days, leaving his current country behind. The movie ends with the narrative highlighting the achievements of Squadron 303, who were recognized as the highest-scoring pilots in Britain. A total of 145 Polish pilots, who were integrated into the British forces, managed to bring down 203 enemy aircraft. This feat significantly contributed to the reputation and strength of the Royal Air Force. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.